At this point, I'm very happy with the design of my bench. It's going to look great when it's installed in our new backyard. But before I start working on the construction, I need to make some decisions about how the bench assembly is going to be joined to the 4 posts that our contractor is going to install for us. This is intended to be a functional bench, and it's big enough for 5 adults to sit on at the same time. Obviously, this is a critical area of the design that I need to get right. To do this, I'm going to look at the forces at the joint between the bench and the posts. So I was really excited when I came across a new application for the iPad called ForceEffects, which helps you to do rigid body diagrams. Exactly the tool I need to understand what is going on. I've taken a cross-section through the posts that I've created from my 3D model. And I'm going to import that into a new diagram. You can see there's a crossbeam. Then here's the post which we're proposing to join to the crossbeam with a bolt right here. And then the rails arrayed across the top of the beam. The first element I'm going to draw will represent the beam itself. And then I'm going to add an element just to represent the edge of the bench here. It's probably not strictly necessary, but I'm going to add it anyways. Then we obviously need to represent the post itself, so we'll draw an element down here. Just align it here. It doesn't have to be too precise at this point. And then there's one more element that represents where the beam is going to impact on the edge of the post itself. So that's my geometric representation of this situation here. We do need to add some joints here. This part is rigid, so we're going to add what's called a welded joint, and we're going to do exactly the same right here. And then we need to anchor the post because it's fixed in the ground, so appropriately enough we'll add a grounded joint right there. And then finally we need a joint here which is a rolling joint where the beam touches the edge of the post, because there could be some slight movement there. The only thing left to do now is to add the force. And I'm going to assume that the worst case is when somebody sits right on the edge of the bench. And so we'll represent that by a 200-pound force. Wow! Take a look at this reaction force right here. It's over 1,000 pounds. And the reason is quite simple. When you take a look at this, we've got a huge amount of leverage going on. I need to take a look at this because this is being built out of cedar, and 1,000 pounds of force, reaction force at this point, would be quite concerning. One option I have would be to add some braces here to strengthen the structure. I have to say I'm not too keen on that because it would interfere with the aesthetics. The other thing to consider here is that this is a simplification. It's a cross-section through one of the posts, and in reality the load will be distributed through the curvature of the bench to the other legs. And I want to investigate that aspect further. So I'm going to come up and do a second rigid body diagram here to understand how those loads are going to be distributed across all the legs in the bench.